Mr. Chinoy, many thanks for patiently waiting. Let's throw some light on the ATF front as well. Of course, 993 rupee jump in commercial LPG is massive. Is it purely global LPG benchmarks, or are there supply side constraints as well? It's something that the ambassador has helped us understand. But we now have a widening gap, isn't it, Mr. Chinoy? You've got domestic LPG that is protected, but commercial LPG cylinders that are at records high. Is this particular gap sustainable? And whilst you're at it, the ATF front, even with partial government intervention, how serious is this issue? Airlines are warning of stress, possible flight cuts, rising fares.
No, thank you, Kabir. And if I would just take what Ambassador Dasgupta and Mithali actually said just now, I think it's important to understand that this is not a pricing issue. Pricing is an after effect, right? But it is fundamentally an energy security issue. We import 85% of our crude oil,
That's
50+% of our natural gas requirements, significant LPG requirements. Now, if there's a shortage, right, you have to ensure that the most vulnerable sectors actually get it. So, there was a reference to COVID, and when you looked at COVID, even there, the benefits or the outreach was structured first in the very, very poor. So we had the food and the ration going, and then, the domestics, then the MSME, then large industries. So it was actually structured that way. And if you see what's actually happening now, they're doing the same thing.
So it's the same playbook at play.
Same playbook at play. One significant difference, and that's very important to understand in this time, the issue with airlines and, fuel prices was not there because of the lockdown, right? Now we don't have a lockdown, right? So the demand is there, but there's a supply side shock, right? And as Ambassador Dasgupta has said, that depending on whether it's 3 to 6 months, how long this supply side shock remains, and the energy, the energy prices are increasing because of the supply side shock. Because a lot of the oil, even after if we unblock the Strait of Hormuz and we have everything traveling, yet there is a significant amount in different countries of, petroleum producing capacity which has gone off, and that's again going to be a demand supply mismatch. So I think this is important in this sense. But, domestic LPG prices are politically moderated and very often partially insulated by government intervention and subsidy. But that means the subsidy burden is also going up. That means the fiscal deficit is also going up.
80,000 crore rupees subsidy by the government. I mean, that's what the ambassador told us in his opening submission.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the first few months of this year, we spent close to, 100,000 crores just on increased fuel prices, right?
Exactly.
And at that time, the fuel prices were not increased, neither commercial LPG nor turbine fuel. So, you've actually absorbed that, but there's a limit to what it can be absorbed. And therefore, you have to find sectors and, areas of the population where you got to pass these increases on.
Yeah, so just to dwell a little bit deeper on that, oil companies, like you mentioned also, are often said to absorb some of this burden. But realistically, could you paint a picture for the viewers? How much are they truly absorbing and how much is going to be passed on?
At this point of time for domestic fuel and given the excise duty cut, right, the government is absorbing the excise duty cut, and the petroleum companies are losing, close to, 3-digit, let's say 100 rupees or something per liter, depending on which way, the price is. And since we have only a limited amount of
Take a look at that, Mr. Chinoy. We're breaking this news even as we speak. Petrol, diesel price hike has not been ruled out. These are sources telling us at this point in time. This is coming, of course, from the government sources. Petrol, diesel price hike not ruled out. And oil firms, the losses are mounting for them. Pricing review is likely. This is what sources are telling us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes sense, right? So, what is the larger picture that we want to travel? Do you want to keep the fisc in place? Do you want to keep our macroeconomic fundamentals in place so we continue to attract, investment, continue to grow, or we, pass on subsidies and create a unmanageable subsidy burden and creating other implications? So it's a very tightrope walk, and it's all supply side driven. And there are short-term measures that we need to take, but we need long-term measures. we are amongst, if you look at the countries like China, South Korea, and some other countries, they have 3 to 4 times the number of days of strategic oil reserves than we have, right? We need to, Mithali was talking of people going to electric, induction stoves and all. We need to expand rural.
Precisely.
So we got to do a lot of stuff.
But the scale and timing, and this is the right time, this is the right segue for me to, bring those global examples.